Christopher said, I'm good. It was nice to have the host festival and seeing people there and at Pixel Bar. Yeah, you'll have to tell me. Jamalda, how's it going? Thanks for following. Oh, great to have you on the stream. I hope to be able to do some discussion panels at some point with casters like yourselves. That'd be awesome. How was the host festival, Chris? How was that? And you went to Pixel Bar as well. I couldn't make the festival in Manchester. It was it's too far for me to go, really, with everything else I've got on. But any events in London like that, I should be there. Especially the Esports Insider ones, the ESI ones. Sammy Jungle says, looks like potential Champions League football. Howden, thanks for following the stream. We've got a few new followers. I'm surprised. Maybe I should do some Sunday night streams instead of doing Saturday night streams. Jamada said, free the NLC. We did nothing wrong to get robbed of an NLC slot. Mate, anytime, just give us a shout. Yeah, it'd be lovely to do. Do you know what I've been saying for absolutely ages? Because I know we've interviewed most UK casters, UK and Ireland casters in League of Legends on Esports News UK. But in recent years, there are a few we've missed, like Nymera, Initialize, and a few others. Viperoon, I think. I know we've interviewed you in an article. Meg did that, didn't she, last year? But yeah, I want to interview Nymera and maybe do a panel or something. Maybe we can do it after this split, after the playoffs, and we do review the split or something like that. I'm always open to ideas. Absolutely. So should we start with NLC then? Because we've got 10 viewers and we don't always have 10 to 20 viewers. Sometimes we had less. I'll come back onto the Royal Ravens. If Odie joins, I'll come back to Royal Ravens because that's more COD, isn't it? Should we jump into the NLC stuff then? If there's a few League of Legends people here, I wasn't going to do something on this, and I'll tell you why, guys. I see this argument come up a lot. You know, we've been moaning about this for a while, haven't we? NLC's only got 2 slots in the EU Masters. So I was like, it's not news, but it is because everyone in the scene is talking about it as well. And when I saw I'll be honest, when I saw Cajal make a comment, I was like, well, Cajal, if I put Cajal in a headline, those articles tend to do pretty well. Look, I'm just telling it as it is. I do have to go where the traffic is sometimes. And Cajal had a good point as well. And there were a few other people making some good points as well. I didn't put everyone in because there was a lot of tweets, but when someone like Cajal puts his weight behind this, that's good. He said it's ridiculous seeding for EU Masters. How the hell does NLC only have 2 spots? Reevaluate this now. Absolutely appalling decision making. Not too late to change. And Nymera made some other comments on it as well, but agreed. It's a weird one, isn't it? Is it purely on viewership? Riot's view, because if we look at this, and Torok as well from JDXL made some good comments as well. Let's play what while we're chatting. Let's play Torok's comments.
This seeding decision is an absolute shambles, and the people behind it really need to reevaluate the way they look at the ERLs. I don't have another way of putting it, but the way that they've managed to somehow come up with the idea of Ultraliga having 4 spots and NLC having 2 is a complete farce, and the people behind adjudicating seeding for the EU Master system need to take a long, hard look at their processes going into the future, because they have completely failed in their ability to judge the skill difference potentially between leagues, look at past results, look at the balance of the regions, and identify the correct way in order to distribute the seeds going in for a competitive tournament. There's really no way that the people behind this decision could have done their due diligence, considering the NLC reached EU Masters 2 times in the last year, and previously had extremely strong results, and is a merger region. Unfortunately, sorry for the Ultraliga, but this is a terrible decision, and I hope it gets rectified soon.
So those were Torok's views. I mean, I know the UK, the UK Nordics region, we've made the finals twice last year. Don't forget, Fnatic aren't in the NLC anymore, are they? And they were one of the teams that made one of the finals. I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit. We've got X7, haven't we? XL, Bifrost, and looking at like the good top 3. There's no guarantee any of them will make it through the playoffs. I expect that one of them, at least one, will. But it's a shame that if all 3 do progress, it's a shame that one won't make it to EU Masters, because they're all good enough, aren't they? 14 wins, 4 losses. That's if you're doing that well, you're good enough to play in the EU Masters, in my opinion. Phoenix Manu says, "Wow, dark mode. Hi, how's it going, Alistair?" Yeah, I've had dark mode for a while, and I bought all the premium ones, so you can do. There's more to do with this, but I tend to use it. I usually have dark mode on, don't I, for my new streams in the evening? I think I do. That Stat Guy Zero said, "Everyone wants to complain. No one wants to decide which out of LVP, PRM, Ultraliga, and NLC is dropping out of the top 4 to make groups pools possible." Crazy says that EU Masters people are smoking a fat one. McNoob says, if based around viewership, then fair enough, get the viewers to watch more if the teams are so much better. It's easier said than done, isn't it? We've been wanting better viewership in the UK and Nordics for ages now, and I'm not sure what the answer is, to be honest. Jamada says, the bigger issue, in my opinion, is the reasoning for giving Ultraliga an extra slot, considering the exact same thing happened to the NLC last year and we lost slots. That, in conjunction with last year's results, is just sad. It is, yeah. And Jamada, remind me, I can't actually remember. Did we have 3 slots at one stage and then it dropped to 2? Because I can't remember. I know these are the slots that were on the EU Masters article. It was Riot putting this article out, wasn't it, that caused everyone to start moaning again. I mean, we knew they were going to have 2 slots for the NLC because they announced it a while ago. But, you know, you always think, are they going to make a change before this new announcement comes out? Yeah, Ultraliga. Is there a special reason why Ultraliga has 4 slots? Am I missing something with this? Because I find that surprising. I don't think of Ultraliga when I think of the big ARLs. I do think of LFL. And I think it was Megalodontus who was telling me that the reason they have 4 is because Carmine caught 2 EU Masters last year or something like that. I can't remember the rules, to be honest. I should know, shouldn't I, as a journalist? I can't remember the rules if you're a winner of EU Masters, if you get back in next time. I can't remember. But I think LFL usually has 3, and they've got 4 this time round. Like Super League have got 3, Prime League's got 3. You would have liked the NLC to have 3 at least, really, wouldn't you? You could have done 3 for Ultraliga and 3 for NLC. That might have kept everyone happy, possibly. Why didn't they do that? That could have been an easy one. Don't know what you guys think of that. Crazy says, might as well start a Riot. And that's that guy Zero says, used to have 3 slots. That's it. Merged with Balkans that had 2. Riot, yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but you know, it just means it's going to be all that more competitive, isn't it? The teams making it through. You have to make it count in the playoffs now. You've got to make it count. I did an article on the playoffs teams, a very basic article the other day. Where is it here? Here we go. I mean, it's amazing that Bifrost on the tiebreaker rules made it to number 1. I wouldn't have predicted that. I thought it was going to be. I thought X7 had it comfortable. To lose 3 games out of their last 4 is going to be pretty crushing for those guys. I mean, they're still in the playoffs. They're still in the top 2, but their morale. This might be. Well, this is, isn't it, the most challenging part for X7 at the moment. They haven't had this many losses. They haven't had a challenge like this, and they'll need to be, I don't know, what's the word I'm thinking of, like not reform, but you know, take a step back, reevaluate things, and try and come with, you know, fresh into the playoffs, because they've got some big players that they've invested in, and they want to make sure that they get through to the EU Masters. Stat Guy Zero, that wouldn't work for groups. What was that? Is that something I was saying there? Creating the main stage groups would be very awkward at that point with essentially 5 main regions. Oh, right, I see what you mean, yep. Crazy said, guess we need to win at EU Masters to prove ourselves we're competitive. Well, I don't know. I think we proved it last year. A BTX or JDXL are always going to be up there, aren't they? Because they're an academy team of an LEC. Astralis really should have done better, finishing in 7th. I'm surprised. But then you might say, Dom, why are you surprised? Because Astralis aren't doing well in the LEC either. But they're a big name, Astralis, and they'll be wanting to make changes, I think, later this year and improve it at both the LEC and the NLC level. Gutted for Eminem and a few of the other guys that missed out on playoffs. But yeah, I think it's been pretty competitive, pretty fun season to watch. I haven't watched every game. I don't always get the time with the kids and stuff, but I know Megalodontus watches and lets me know if there's any news and bits and pieces, and I try and tune in where I can. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Who do you think will make it through the playoffs? That's what I'm interested in, because anything can happen in playoffs. That's what I love about them. Upsets can happen. We've had Mad Lions. You know, who would have predicted this time last year Mad Lions were going to win both LEC playoffs? Yeah, not many people would have predicted that. Let's be honest. So I'm looking forward to it. What can NLC do in the off season to boost the league up and bring in new eyes to it? It's the $1 million question. They've tried a lot. I mean, my stream last week, we were looking at, I think, the Westwood partnership. Riot Games had like Westwood on whatever radio station, Capital, I think he was, promoting League of Legends with Westwood a few years ago. You know, they're trying to reach more casual audience or whatever, more mainstream audience. I'm not sure what the answer is at this point. I'm really not sure. We've tried a lot of things. Stat Guy Zero says, as 2020 results fall out of the equation, NLC should move up with Ultra League a drop in. Their 2020 results are carrying them. Okay. You know, I don't follow the Ultra League closely at all. I'm not even super familiar with some of the teams in there. I should, as a journalist, be following them a little bit more, but UK, Ireland, and now Nordics is kind of my bread and butter, right? So I stick to that. So, yeah, this was the article that annoyed people. Play-ins, 4th of April. Not long now, is it? A few weeks. And we'll just have to see, wait and see which NLC team goes through. Duckling Casts, thanks for thank you, Duckling. How are you doing? That's another caster I haven't really reached out to in the scene that I'd like to. That I just don't get time. I was just saying to Jamada earlier, there's a few, usually we interview most casters in the UK scene, but there's a few in recent years. There's a lot of good talent coming through. It's hard to keep up with you guys. I don't want to say stop producing so many great casters, because I'm happy. But yeah, it makes my job harder when I feel what I want to interview and cover the scene and interview all the personalities and things like that. But also, I don't interview players enough as well, if I'm being honest. I think when I'm looking at Esports News UK in recent years, we don't interview enough players, in my opinion. I know it's just me and Mega and a few volunteers, but we've done like we tend to interview LEC players as well, with British angles like Alfari, ex-Matty. We've interviewed a UK coach or two in the LEC. Young Buck for XL, stuff like that. Tim at XL. But I want to interview more, but it's getting time, isn't it? I'm still on. I sent an email out earlier, guys, to another fund. So yeah, I was like, hey, I'm looking for funding. Here's what we're looking for. Blah blah blah. Let me know if you want a deck. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm hoping to grow the team at some point. Phoenix McNew says, actually appeal about the nationality of the leagues rather than making it a subpar LEC stream would help. I don't know. Yeah. League countries. I see what you mean. Yeah. More of like a British and Nordics thing. It's hard though, isn't it? How do you do that? Because we're bridged, aren't we, with the Nordics, UK, Ireland, and Nordics. You could have like each week a different focus on a different country, couldn't you? One Nordic country one week, Ireland the next, or whatever, UK the next, another Nordic country the next, and make it a special themed thing about a particular team. I don't know, and get guests on from, I don't know, personalities from that country. Who knows? There's lots of things you can do. But I don't think it's the production quality or the talent or even, the content. I don't think that's the problem at all. I think it's a bit broader than that. It's how do you get league fans in the UK, Ireland and Nordics caring about the lower division, caring about LEC. Because in football, it's natural, isn't it? If you're born in wherever, I'm trying to think of like a lower league. If you're born in Middlesbrough, chances are you're going to support Middlesbrough, right? Whether they're in Premier League, Championship or League One. In esports, you don't have that. You don't have that thing. You just follow the Premier League of esports, which is in League of Legends, in our territory, it's the LEC, right? How do you get people caring about the lower tiers? That's the challenge. The academy teams is good. You know, it's good that XL, big fans of XL and Astralis and whoever else, Fnatic, can follow their lower tier. The big fans will probably follow the lower tier teams a little bit, because we used to see a spike, didn't we, in viewership when Fnatic were playing in the NLC and so on. How do you make those lower tier fans, the fans of League of Legends in the UK and Ireland and Nordics, care about lower tier? I don't know how we do that. Ducklin says, doing great, thank you. Really enjoying your work and have for some time. Oh, thanks very much. That's kind to hear. And I know sometimes people won't tell me they like my work, or they won't tell me they dislike my work. And you always, you know, sometimes you can tell from certain people who either like a lot of your content or people that don't follow you, even though I regard them as, you know, I'd be very chatty with them if I met them at an event, and they usually, you know, reciprocate. But then you can sometimes tell when people don't like your content as well, and it's a challenge, isn't it, as a content creator, as a journalist as well. Stat Guy Zero says, hopefully they allow teams to co-stream in their native languages next split. Yeah, that's a good idea. Cheese Lord, most esports have this issue, to be honest, not just League. Only time I've seen tier 2 survivors with US collegiate. Yep, I agree. Are crazy, do a content piece around the team in their country. Yeah, I'd like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. You could always, well, I know it'd be a bit of crazy on budget, wouldn't it? But, you know, going to a country and making a content thing in conjunction with a team, that could be pretty cool, couldn't it? Or, you know, NLC, we go and interview the players at the new Shoreditch office or something, you know, or whatever else. There's lots you can do. But like I say, I don't think content is the problem. NLC, great content, great talent. It's just a tough one. Fridge Cake, how's it going? Just my opinion, but foreign broadcasts of LEC, etc. can be hyper passionate about local teams. Foreign broadcast, right, yeah. LEC English broadcast is a generalist, not a UK, etc. focus. Yeah, absolutely. That's something to bear in mind as well. Cheese Lord, my hot take is that this is why uni esports is just going to replace, save tier 2 scenes, gives you that regional tie-in. Possibly, but again, people don't watch it that much, do they? Sadly. And you know, I'll be honest, I don't really watch the uni leagues. I know I should. Sometimes try and watch the finals when they come around, but again, it's like all these leagues we've got, it's hard to keep up, isn't it? It's really hard. But yeah, that's some of my views on NLC. Any other views anyone wants to say about this stuff here, let me know. I would like to do more videos, you know. I would like to, because I've noticed some news streamers and people like that will do a stream and then they'll take a VOD. They'll take part of the clip, you know, and they'll put it on YouTube. So I could just clip this out, couldn't I, and say Dom chats about lack of NLC spots or something like that. Do we think as well, one question before I move on from this, do we think that UK, Ireland and Nordics are going to do well in the EU Masters this time around? I'd like to think we can. You know, XL went on a surprisingly good run last year, but I'll be honest, I think a few of those games, I don't know. I'm not saying XL didn't deserve to be in the final, but I do think they had a good run that might have been, you know, if they tried to do it again, they might not have got to the final. They had quite a few good games. I think, did they have a lucky run? I can't remember. Were they playing teams that they avoided the harder side of the bracket? I can't remember. So that would be interesting. I think X7 can go far, definitely, but not if they're on the run of form where they're losing 3 out of 4 games. So we'll have to see what happens there. I've missed a few bits here. Hang on a minute. Crazy says, if possible, try and get teams in a studio in the summer split so they can have team content. All this stuff is like UK CSGO. How that is struggling at the moment. Yep. Stat Guy Zero says, I've seen the UK LoL scene get more passionate for Div 2 than Div 1. Yeah. Well, with the UK EL, I had that sort of impression. But I think it was a bit more freedom, right? When you had the UK EL, I felt like the teams felt more free to express themselves than maybe, you know, with the NLC, there might be certain things in the contract or whatever that they've got to do, and it's more professional and all of that stuff. Maybe teams felt like they can be themselves a bit more in the Div 2 or UK EL and stuff like that. Esports Wales is now following. How's it going, guys? Thank you for following. I'm surprised there's 12 viewers on a Sunday. I don't usually get many viewers, and I'm not a cool young person compared to some of you lot. So if I grow the team, hopefully I'll get someone who can have a crack with streams as well and have a bit more time than me. So yeah, it's nice that you're all following. Thank you. And I think we send 2 very competitive teams. Yeah, I do. Duckling, yeah. I hope they have a good run of form, because anything can happen in a tournament, right? Stat Guy says, I'm surprised by the X7 content, to be honest. In UKEL, it seemed pretty chill, but no idea what's happened as this split's gone along. I haven't followed the content that much, to be honest. I know they did a cool bootcamp thing, didn't they? An event I couldn't make because I had COVID at the time, but I had a volunteer writer go along and interview a lot of them. That was really good. I enjoyed that content, and they've got that guy. Forgive me, I've forgotten his name now. Who's done some fun like social media content and video content, but I haven't been following it super closely. If they sort of quieten down a bit, I know Josh is very busy. Founder of X7, he's doing stuff with Isle of Man as well, isn't he? Digital Isle of Man as a job. Esports Wales says, how would you structure the UK scene for the league? That's really hard. What league are we talking about? NLC? It's tough. I certainly don't have the answers how we structure it. I think the structure's, I think the structure isn't too bad. The Div 1, I don't know if I'd put 5 divisions in, to be honest. Maybe 1 to 3 or something, 1, 2 and 3. But 5 seems a lot, and because there's no prize pool from 2 downwards, that's what upset a lot of people, right? We did a big article towards the end of last year looking at the prize pools and why teams have stepped away. We had several teams step away, didn't we, from Div 2 because I think lack of prizing, lack of support. But then the support is pretty good in Div 1. And that lack of being able to get to Div 1, there's only 1 chance a year, isn't there? I think there's promotion relegation. It's only once a year instead of twice a year. That put some teams off, and they thought, you know what, we're going to try other esports like Rocket League and whatever else, because we feel like we'll have a better, read between the lines. That's basically what they said. It's more beneficial for them to go into other esports. League of Legends is very top heavy, isn't it? It's a top heavy esport. It's similar to CSGO, really. If you're not at the top, it's damn hard to be sustainable and everything. Yeah, that's it. Don Jake, I think it was, Stat Guy Zero. Apologies, his name just eluded me for a bit. iCrazy says, if any teams would want support on your LOL teams, then make sure to tag us on Twitter, UK_esports. Yeah, you run that, don't you, iCrazy, and you retweet people and things like that. I should do a better job of retweeting on Esports News UK. Again, if I had a social manager, they can do all that, but I just tend to just share my articles and things like that. Last few comments then we'll move on, guys. Duckling says, I honestly really like the old National League structure. Telia Masters was an awesome concept but never had a budget to make a great event. Loved the mini EU Masters vibe that Telia Masters had with an official broadcast and a longer tournament. It could have been world class. Yeah, I liked it as well. Yeah. iCrazy, at the moment I'm focusing on CSGO as it's the more popping esport in the UK scene, and I would love to support other games in the scene. And Esports Wales says, grassroots teams are pretty much impossible to run a team without a budget. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? And I know, actually, Insomnia, if we go, this links us quite nicely into Insomnia, to be honest, because I had a few people talking on Twitter after I did this article the other day, because I've seen quite a lot of teams, aren't attending Insomnia because the prices have gone up.